Welcome, I'm Christine Manning with the Wine Education Institute. Thank you for joining me on today's advanced tour of the Rhone Valley. We begin our journey in the Northern Rhone. If you look at a map, this region is a narrow strip of vineyards clinging to the steep banks of the Rhone River. It is a place defined by dramatic topography and a singular focus on specific grape varieties. Today's overview will cover the Northern Rhone's geographical context, key appellations, climate factors, and the dominant grape varieties. Let's dive in. Unlike the sprawling south, the Northern Rhone is responsible for only a small percentage of total Rhone production, but its wines can command some of the highest prices and prestige of this entire region. The climate here is moderate continental. It is more similar to its northern neighbor Beaujolais as opposed to the southern Rhone. The defining feature is the valley itself. It is narrow and steep and protects the vine from our famous Mistral wind. This wind whips through strongly and constantly and can damage a vine canopy if not managed properly. You'll often see vines supported by individual stakes, sometimes in a teepee arrangement, specifically to withstand the wind. Because of our cool latitude, it's important to maximize sunlight exposure. The best vineyards are planted on steep, south-facing slopes, often at angles that require terracing to prevent soil erosion. The undisputed king of red grapes here is Syrah. This is the northern limit for growing Syrah successfully. South-facing aspect on steep slopes helps it to ripen fully. Wines from slopes will be deeply colored, high tannin in structure, often showing black fruit and black pepper notes. For whites, we have Viognier. Viognier can have perfumed characteristics, so much so that it can be co-fermented with black grapes to give red wines aromatic lift. Marsanne can give weight and richness to a white wine blend, and Roussanne can add acid and lift from fruit. Viognier would be the most powerful of the three, but still not overtly oaked, and it can also be made into a late harvest style. Next, let's walk through our key crus from north to south. First, Côte Rôtie. The name translates to roasted slope, indicating its intense sun exposure. It is a red wine-only appellation, producing deeply colored aromatic Syrah. This appellation does allow our co-fermentation with Viognier, allowing for up to 20% Viognier added in with Syrah. This can add lift and counterintuitively help balance out our red color. Next is Condrieu, which is dedicated to white wine made from 100% Viognier. Our best examples come from low-yielding vines on steep terrace slopes. Wines will be full-bodied with luscious textures and intense aromas of apricots. Moving south, we find Saint-Joseph. Our appellation runs along the western bank, and it is quite long, so quality can vary. The best wines will come from our slopes, often adding some structure, while wines from our flatter valley floor tend to be lighter and sometimes made using carbonic maceration for early drinking. Then we arrive at the hill of Hermitage. This is a single, south-facing slope behind the town of Hermitage, named after a crusader turned hermit, perfecting his vineyards here. Hermitage can produce full-bodied, long-lived Syrahs in the north. Unlike Côte Rôtie, you can blend in up to 15% Marsanne and Roussanne, although this is pretty rare. Surrounding that hill is Crus Hermitage. This is our highest volume appellation in the north. We are crossing hillsides, so the terrain is broader and more mixed. The northern slopes produce more concentrated wines, while the flatter southern sites produce lighter, less expensive Syrah. Finally, in the far south, we have Cornas. This would be our warmest cru in sheltered, sun-baked slopes. Cornas has to be 100% Syrah, and no whites are allowed. This can be deeply colored, full-bodied, and structured. Let's summarize the Northern Rhone. Remember it as the region of Syrah and steep slopes. Our distinct, moderate continental climate demands that vines face the sun to achieve ripeness, creating wines of immense structure and longevity. Our red-only crus are Côte Rôtie and Cornas, white-only from Condrieu, made from Viognier, and then we also have Saint-Joseph, Hermitage, and Crus Hermitage, where we can get both red and white wines. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you again soon. Cheers.